Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, Chapter 180. When we last left our heroes, Holy came on board the Eden Zero for the first time and spent some time sort of getting acclimated, meeting the various parts of the crew. There were some more risque elements, like Jean's genuinely funny, like Oblivious hot dog bit. But also spent some time in the Spa of Edens and the dress factory. But nestled in all of that, there's some interesting nuggets of future setup. We're once again reminded about Holy having some kind of plan to betray Shiki and maybe take his powers. She seems to be more than a little suspicious of Pino. And then she reveals that the three cosmoses we've been to, along with her own cosmos, the Yukino cosmos, independently represent spring, summer, fall, and winter, and together become the Grand Shiki Cosmos. Which, given our boy's name and his seeming connection to Mother that is supposed to be a thing, that seems important. Not quite sure how yet, but it'll probably come up later. We then find out that Labilia can be saved by Sister, but in return, Labilia must stay on the ship for a while, so she'll be a crew member for a bit. And then we get to battle strategy, where Connor reveals to Shiki, Hermit, and Holy, and maybe I think Wise was there, but a bit more about his time on Lendard, how Ziggy had hired, experts in various fields to scan their brains and copy them onto his army. And as he escaped, he saw this giant robot that's far bigger than the Eden Zero, and Holy reveals that is Dead End Crow, the Titan of Eternal Darkness. And that's where we leave off. So let's dive right on into Chapter 180, Operation Planet Eater. And our picture here seems to be a thing that Mashi was going to do for a while. Because we have this Best Look of Spring Collection Part 1. It's clean in this sort of, like a fashion show kind of thing. She's wearing this dress that cuts off right above her nipples. You have a basically full chest shot and shoulders, with a standalone collar sort of thing. I don't know, it's fine. But I'm assuming it's going to be the next several covers are going to be in this vein. But anyway, we open on the living planet Lendard. And we just hear the sound of machines working through the planet. We see this sort of busted room and what looks like maybe blood or something. And yeah, we see a bunch of dead workers. These might be the professionals who got scanned. Emergency. Collapse of the scanning facility confirmed. 99 collaborators dead. 1 missing. I repeat. So yeah, and we see that's Dead End's foot smashed through the scanning facility, killing everyone except Connor, who escaped. Which is giving good credence to Connor's story. I've been somewhat skeptical of Connor, as in both prior universes, he was attached to the Edens 1 at some point, and now he's not. So again, I've been skeptical, but this little this little opening scene here, does seem to lend some credence to Connor's story. But then we just see Dead End looking down at his work. And then elsewhere with Ziggy and one of the Dark Stars, I forget what Dark Star that is. Let me do a quick little Google search. I believe that's Wizard? Let me check. Yes, it is Wizard who comes to Ziggy. Lord Ziggy, Crow has killed all the humans in the facility. And Ziggy just comments, "Oh, bother. The beast is getting out of control." And the scanning. So it seems like this wasn't actually part of Ziggy's plan. It wasn't like Ziggy decided they were no longer useful and then had Crow kill them or something. Because Wizard says data collection was near completion, so I doubt there will be a problem. So the collection wasn't complete yet. It's just Crow being kind of, uncontrollable to some degree. Anyway, Ziggy then spawns this, it looks like a map of space maybe? Alright then. And then he disappears. Oh, it's Wormhole. He got still has the wormhole ability he stole from Nero. So he warps to right by Crow's head, and Crow notes him, and Crow turns and says to him, "Yo, Ziggy, I didn't know you kept human pets around. I accidentally squashed them." But Ziggy tells him the humans you stomped on were all highly skilled in their respective fields. I had brought them here as collaborators so I could absorb their various abilities. And Crow tells him, "But you were going to kill them anyway, right?" And Ziggy responds, "Even so, you broke my things." Which shows that, like, yeah, he was going to, but, like, it was not... His complaint with Crow is that killing them was not Crow's choice to make. You broke my things. I am not amused. Do you understand? And Crow sort of shakes his head and tries to, like, defend himself. A measly 100 humans isn't going to cut it. When are you going to feed me enough to actually fill me up? And Ziggy tells him, when this battle is over, you can have the entire Kaide cosmos. Then you can devour all the humans you like until they go extinct. But first, yeah, I know. You want me to sink that Eden Zero ship, right? Okay, so Crow was specifically hired to stop the Eden Zero. Alright. Ziggy makes sure he's aware. The Zero is every bit as powerful as the One. With the One busy elsewhere, that is why I need your help. So, okay, so the One is somewhere else. And Crow calls him out. So, why can't you use the Eden's One? I am currently using all of its processing power for a certain calculation. The calculation to locate Mother. Okay. So Ziggy's getting ready to go. After this battle, he's going to go to Mother and, you know, do whatever he wants to do with Mother, which I don't think we really have a lot of an idea of what he wants from Mother. I don't know. Anyway, back to the Eden Zero, where I'm assuming everyone is still around the table talking about Crow and Lendard. Someone asks, Mother? Oh, this is Labilia, who is just hearing about all of this in the first place. You're seriously going to try to find Mother? And Rebecca's just, like, casually slurping on some noodles when this battle is over, yeah. Labilia protests, Battle? You? But you barely held your own against me in a fist fight. I'm really more of a gunner, and if it came down to it, I can use ether gear too. So also, like Rebecca was distinctly going easy on Labilia. But also, we're seeing Labilia sort of be welcomed into the fold as a crew member for the first time, which means at long last she needs to, like, find out what exactly her old bullying victims were up to while she was bullying them. But Labilia is just shocked. Ether gear? When did you learn to use an ether gear? And Couchpo tells her, you heard her, we're going into battle. You might want to disembark for a while. Labilia just looks up, and what are you doing here, Miss Couchpo? And Couchpo is just, you know, as confident as she was back in the Owie War, when she, like, rocketed up to one of my favorite characters. I'm here to protect this kitchen. These days, I'm known as the Stomach of Edens. And Labilia just sort of acknowledges it's a bit more of a somber flavor of the same kind of determination that Couchpo is showing. You know, neither of them can really do much in this situation at the moment, unless Labilia starts taking dips in the spa. But they're both, you know, like, Couchpo is putting on a much braver face than Labilia is. I'm ready for the worst too. I was expecting to die soon anyway. I want to stay with my dear Rebecca, and she's, like, gone full 180, no longer hiding that, like, admiration she held for Rebecca, and is much sweeter on her. And Rebecca's just Labilia. And Happy is just unhappy with Labilia. And Labilia looks down at Happy and, like, apologizes. Happy, I haven't apologized to you for everything yet. I'm sorry. And Happy cuts her off. Rebecca told me. And if Rebecca wants to be your friend, then I'm your friend too. Which, you know, there have been some comments in the past couple of weeks about how easy Rebecca lets Labilia off. Like I said in that video, with everything Rebecca has gone through over the past 180 chapters, Labilia's hazing is real minor in comparison. So it makes sense to me. Anyway, we cut to the briefing room, where the whole crew is gathered around. with the notable exceptions of Couchbone and Labilia, as they're probably not going to actually join in the battle right now. As Hermit tells them, I will now start the briefing on our strategy for invading the planet Lendard. Also, I note Holy is missing from the briefing table, and someone calls out, wait. Oh, and it's Elsie. Actually, Holy is there. I missed her. I saw the wait and sort of assumed that would be Holy's line, but it's Elsie who's on voice on FaceTime, space FaceTime, who notes Holy. She's with the Interstellar Union Army. Can we really trust her? And Holy looks up at Elsie and just sort of teases, let's just forget about Dear Justice for now, please. Ziggy has a powerful army. Even with your fleet and the Eden Zero combined, they have the numerical advantage. But if you add my Midnight fleet to yours, and Elsie just sort of tells her, fine. If Shiki trusts you, then I will as well. So, Elsie, even more so than really anyone in the crew, is a little bit skeptical of putting Holy on board. But if Shiki's going to trust her, then fuck it, I guess she guesses she will as well. So Shiki turns to Hermit. Start the briefing, Hermit. Yes, sir. Soon our ship will be entering Lendard's defense zone. And we see they're pretty close to Lendard now. We can expect to run into tens of thousands of unmanned starfighters. We'll need help from Elsie's and Holy's fleets to break through their ranks. And Holy tells them, I'll give orders to the Eden Zero. And we see both the Elsie fleet and the Holy fleet sort of flanking the Eden Zero to go for the enemy drones. While the enemy is distracted, the Eden Zero and Elsie's flagship will head to Lendard's surface. Here we will split into two teams. The Crow attack team, made up of starfighters, and the core subjugation team who will be proceeding on foot. And I think this might be the first time Elsie is aware of Crow's involvement, because she reacts, we'll be facing dead-end Crow? And again, given that Crow's mission is specifically to hunt down the Eden Zero, we'll see if Crow lets them split into two. But Holy just takes Elsie's shock as more proof that she should be here. You see, the more people you have on your side, the better. But Elsie sort of comments, Ziggy will give us enough trouble on his own. Can't we ignore Crow? But Shiki tells her, Holy only agreed to help us if we would help her beat him. And Jean sort of chimes in, either way, he's enormous. If we ignore him, he'll come and interfere anyway. It's best to keep him busy. So it almost seems like Jean sees this as a distraction. Maybe he doesn't really think that they can beat Crow. The plan is just to hold Crow up for a while the rest of the gang deals with Ziggy. Anyway, Wise goes on, and Holy's Midnight Fleet will give us a lot of firepower. And Pino chimes in, we'll need that power to get through Lendar's defense zone. And Hermit gets everyone's attention again. Moving on, the core subjugation team can expect to engage Ziggy's army in close combat. Laguna questions, you mean a direct conflict with Ziggy? And Clean presses, core subjugation. What does this mean? And Sister tells her, if we can sneak into Lendard's main server, we might be able to destroy Lendard itself, no? But Hermit, dampens everyone's excitement at that. But this is Ziggy we're talking about. He'll never let us do that. So what we want to do at the core is send out a signal. And Homura questions, a signal? And Hermit goes on, we have a secret weapon. We're going to summon a Chronophage. Okay. Alright. Interesting. That's definitely a risky plan. But, if it works, if the Chronophage eats Lendard and eats enough time to where Ziggy was not on Lendard, then Ziggy is wiped from existence. The risk, of course, is that they're also on Lendard, so they have to have enough time to get out. But also, if Ziggy has enough time, if they have enough time to get out, then Ziggy has enough time to get out. It's a risky plan, but it might work. And Shiki is shocked to hear that. As Hermit goes on, either by chance or divine guidance, there's a Chronophage heading towards this sector. And Elsie just kind of ruminates, and also gives a reminder of people who forgot. A Chronophage, the cosmic plague that devours a planet's time. And Happy reacts, you're saying a Chronophage is coming to Lendard? But Pino tells him, no. According to my estimates, it will only pass nearby. And Hermit just smiles at that. but we're going to ram it into Lendard. And Laguna comments, that's true. Not even Ziggy could come back from getting eaten by a chronophage. But Homer is skeptical. Ram it? You can lead a chronophage? And Hermit tells the crew, I looked at all the planets that have been hit by chronophages and found something they had in common. And it's this. Chronophages go to planets where someone has acted against the stream of time. Okay. Norma had Rebecca coming and going with her leaper power. And Rebecca was on Gilst too. That's not quite right, though. So I'm assuming what Hermit's getting at here is that on Norma and on Gilst, those 29 leapers that we didn't see before we first saw Cat Leaper in World 30, some of those happened on Norma and Gilst. And Gilst makes sense, right? Given how terrible things were on Gilst, given how the Chronophage came after Rebecca arrived on Gilst. But the Chronophage only arrived well before Rebecca came to Norma. The Chronophage comes, Norma's cordoned off, and then Rebecca comes. So what's up with that? Okay. And Rebecca's just shocked. Me? And Hermit goes on, there are other examples. Like when an outsider to the normal flow of time, like Wise, leaves a planet and goes to another one. Chronophage attacks soon followed. Does that mean that on every planet they've been on, Chronophages attacked afterwards? Is that what's going on? Because that's a lot. That's a whole lot. And Rebecca sort of starts to panic. But wait, that means Norma was eaten by a Chronophage because of... and Happy just tells her, it's not your fault, Rebecca. If it was your fault, then they should have attacked Blue Garden too. And Hermit does point that out. Right. They don't go to every planet that Rebecca has visited. But it does mean she might be able to summon one. But still, the Norma thing doesn't really make any sense. Because again, the Chronophage came to Norma before Rebecca got there. Right? Yeah, that's definitely what happened. I don't know. It's still just a weird thing. And Rebecca just sort of stammers, but and Wise tells her, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course, Wise is very happy with the fact that, the Chronophage came, because he would not exist without the Chronophage. And Rebecca just comments, Wise, and then she sort of looks down, and looks up, determination in her eyes again. What do you want me to do? But Shiki protests, hey, I don't want you risking Rebecca's... And Hermit stops him. It won't just be Rebecca. If we're going to carry out this plan, all of us will be walking hand in hand with danger. Once the Chronophage has been summoned, we all need to leave Lendard immediately. But we will be able to destroy Lendard and Ziggy. Though again, Ziggy can also leave if he catches wind of what's going on. The Chronophage won't be in this sector for very long. While it's here, Rebecca activates her ether gear at the planet's core. Her ether waves will act as a signal to guide the Chronophage to Lendard. I call it Operation Planet Eater. And that's where we leave off. Okay, so let's take a look at this chapter. We open with stuff on Lendard, sort of seeing the Crow-Ziggy dynamic. As Ziggy's just really not pleased with Crow sort of doing whatever he wants. There's this clear, I'm the one in charge here, Crow. Don't fuck with me. Going on from Ziggy. And we also learn that Crow's specific job is to come for the Eden's One, which I think will end up making everything going on Lendard a good deal more complicated. If Crow is going for all of them and not just whoever happens to come to him, that's going to be a much bigger problem for everyone. But we'll see how all that plays out once the battle starts very soon. Then we see a bit more of Labilia getting kind of acclimated to the crew. She makes her apologies to Happy as she needs to. She learns a bit more about what exactly the crew of Edens is up to, both in fighting Ziggy and in finding Mother. And then we get the briefing room, which again, there's a lot of good stuff here, sort of seeing the gang's battle plan. that I'm sure will go perfectly well. You know, nothing bad gonna happen there. But then there's just the stuff with the Chronophage that doesn't quite... Like blaming Rebecca for Norma... I mean, maybe... like, not blaming her, but, like... saying that it's Rebecca's Leaper power that caused what happened on Norma to happen is... I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical of that. Just because, like, you know... the Chronophage arrived before her. And I suppose the Chronophage might function outside the bounds of linear time, you know, because it's a creature that changes time to the past. Maybe it can, like, sense what will happen in the future or something. I don't know. That's a stretch, though. That's a stretch as I say it. But if it works, and that is, again, a very big if, it could end up... I feel like it almost certainly will not work, just because... Ziggy getting taken out by Chronophage would just be so unsatisfying. That's not what anyone wants. It feels like the moment in Fairy Tale when Anna's like, we're gonna deal with Acno by shoving him in the rift, and then we'll be done. And you know, to no one's surprise, it didn't work. Acno busts out of the rift after being sealed in there. It's a similar thing here. I don't think we're gonna see, you know, some like loophole, not loophole, but like some third party take Ziggy out. That's not going to happen. That's not going to be how it works. It's not going to be a Chronophage that does it. The only way they're going to beat Ziggy is with their own, you know, with their own powers, with their own teamwork, with their own whatever thematic weight Mashima ends up giving the Lendard arc. That's going to be what beats Ziggy, not the Chronophage. That would just be kind of anticlimactic. As much as, like, the Chronophage as a concept, I'm absolutely in love with. I just don't think that's going to be what happens to Ziggy here. But it is a plan. It might not work, but it is a plan. And I do like this moment of, I call it Operation Planet Eater, just, like, focusing on Rebecca, who this whole plan revolves around. It's a cool little bit. And at the very least, I'm excited to watch it all go horribly wrong, because there is no doubt in my mind it will all go horribly wrong. It's like the trope, you know, when you get to see someone's plan before they put it into action, it always goes wrong. So yeah, it's not going to go well, but Lendard is coming. They are, you know, as Hermit says, where's the line? Soon our ship will be entering Lendard's defense zone. Like any moment, the Battle of Lendard is coming, and it's going to be a blast to see. So with that, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter or the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!